Ready.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the Johnston City Council meeting number 26-10 to order. Cindy, roll call, please.
Councilmember Cope.
Here.
Evans.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Ready.
Here.
Burkhart.
Here.
I want to welcome everyone that is in the audience this evening. If you're here for an item that is on the agenda, we would ask for you to wait for that item to come up and address the council at that time. If you're here for an item that is not on the agenda, there will be an opportunity under public communications to address the council. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And I don't see any real young people in the audience this evening. So, Mike, do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is the agenda approval. Mike, do we have any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Mayor and Council, under consent agenda, Agenda I related to Enclave at Wooded Point Plat 1, we're removing that from the agenda tonight.
Okay. Council, any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Evans.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Ready.
Yes.
Burkhart.
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to the public communications. We have one scheduled public communication this evening, and that is a proclamation recognizing the week of May 17th through the 23rd as National Public Works Week. Matt?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to take an opportunity at this time that coincides with National Public Works Week to inform you of a few of our recent staffing changes within the Public Works Department. Due to 3 recent retirements of longtime employees, which were all crew leaders, Public Works Department was faced with hiring new crew leaders for each of those divisions. And I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce each of our new crew leaders and a brief background to you. I'm extremely happy to report to the mayor and the council that we were able to fill all of these roles with the talent from within the department. First, we've got Grant Selby. He's our newest crew leader in Water Sewer Department. Grant's been with the city of Johnston for over 8 years. Grant was recently promoted earlier this month. He has graduated, or he did graduate from Iowa State with a bachelor's degree in business management. Grant also graduated from the 2025 American Water Works Association's Transformative Leadership Academy. Since Grant's worked for the city, he's also attained his certifications in grade 1 through 4 in water distribution, as well as 1 through 3 in sewer collection operations. When Grant's not at work, he enjoys spending time with his wife and daughter. He also enjoys reading and spending time outdoors. So I'd like to welcome Grant to his new position as crew leader. Next, we've got Tanner Schumacher. He is our crew leader in Traffic and Facilities Division. Tanner's been with the department for over 5 years. Tanner graduated from Iowa State with a bachelor's degree in communications. Tanner was promoted to the crew leader earlier this year, and he previously worked in the streets department for his first 2 years, and then moved over to Traffic and Facilities. While Tanner's been with the city, he's attained his winter operations supervisor certification. One of Tanner's favorite interests on the job is winter maintenance and all the challenges that Mother Nature gets to throw at us. Earlier this year, Tanner was also featured in our snow plowing video that received over 5,700 views on our social media. When Tanner's off the clock, he also enjoys being a dad and spending time with his family, as well as golfing and roasting his own coffee. So welcome, Tanner. Luke Vandermaten is our new crew leader in the streets department. Luke's been with us for over 4 years, and he was also promoted earlier this year. Luke holds an associate's degree in criminal justice from the Iowa Central Community College, and he also enjoys challenges that working in the streets division has to offer. You know, it's such a widespread from concrete patching, pothole repairs, culvert and drainage work, as well as winter maintenance. And when Luke is outside of work, he enjoys spending time with his wife and daughter and working on home renovation projects as well as slow pitch softball. Welcome, Luke. Also want to recognize Scott Cherry, our public works superintendent that's in attendance tonight, and recognize him for all of his hard work and effort that he does for the department as well. These are the guys that are behind the scenes that rarely we get to show off. I've briefly touched on just a few things these gentlemen do for the city. There are so many more other things that were not listed here tonight. And depending on how bad our weather is, we may test their skills again. This group and all of our public works staff are the future of the public works department, and the residents in our infrastructure is in good hands. Staff takes pride in their work and are always looking for new and innovative ways to improve residents' quality of life, as well as move the department forward each day. So just say thank you to not only our new crew leaders and superintendent, but all of our public works staff that weren't able to join us tonight.
Well, Grant, Tanner, Luke, and Scott, thank you for being here this evening. It's not easy to come before the city council and have your director, share some things about you, but I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. Our public works department is amazing. You plow the streets when there's snow out there. You keep the water running. When we have storms like this. And if we have trees down tomorrow morning, you'll be out there cleaning up the streets for us, making sure that everybody can safely get through and get to work. So, you keep the sewers running. You make our lives really good every day. So thank you for everything that you do. I do have a proclamation here. I don't know that I'll read it. I'll give it to Matt, and we'll have our picture taken with all of you, because we do want to celebrate National Public Works Week and celebrate everything that you do. When we talk a lot about the quality of life that we have here in Johnston, I'll tell you what, if you guys weren't around, our quality of life would not be as good as it is. So thank you for everything that you every day for the residents of this city. You're much appreciated. So with that, why don't we have a picture taken? And I don't know who has a camera. Y'all have cameras.
Oh, Christine.
Okay, Mayor always stands in the middle. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, go Iowa State.
Thank you. Try that coffee sometime.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Appreciate your work with us.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
You know what coffee's supposed to be.
Okay, we are still under public communications. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to public hearings. We have one public hearing this evening, and that is a public hearing to amend the budget for the year ending June 30, 2026, and consider approval of resolution number 26-88. And we'll open this public hearing at 7:15.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's hearing is to amend the current fiscal year budget. This is the first and only amendment for this fiscal year. We are amending our beginning cash balances as of 7/1/25 to increase, it's a big number, to increase $28.9 million. This increase of cash was mostly due to, we had bond proceeds that came in before the beginning of the year that were originally intended to come in after 7/1. Additionally, we had projected cash balances to be lower due to projects, which were then pushed into the current fiscal year, which we'll touch on later. Revenues are decreasing $6.1 million. However, this includes $10 million of other financing sources, which are those bond proceeds that we technically got last fiscal year. So we're taking them out of the current fiscal year budget. When we look at revenues, excluding those bond proceeds, we actually are increasing our revenues $3.9 million. So our big revenue increases, $583,000 related to hotel, motel, and loss. $500,000 of increase for lost, $83,000 for the hotel motel revenues from budgeted. We are increasing our interest revenue. We originally budgeted $480,000, projected to be in the year around $2.2 million in interest. That's earned on various funds. So if we look, about $400,000 is in our general fund, $374,000 of that interest is in our special revenues, $346,000 in our TIF funds, $200,000 for our debt service, and then our big one is $809,000 of that interest is going back into our capital project funds. We increased our intergovernmental revenues $1.4 million to account for an Axne grant on the Little Beaver Creek Sewer Project, Segment C. That was received in the current fiscal year. Work, however, was done in the previous year. And then we also received our FEMA funds of $403,000 related to the May 2024 tornado. We're decreasing our charges for service by about $680,000. This is our meter sales related to the irrigation ban. So right now we're seeing revenues significantly less than originally budgeted as a result of those July and August water revenues. Then we had about $165,000 of miscellaneous revenues that were mostly from grants. So we had a public arts grant from Bravo, and then 2 community betterment grants from Prairie Meadows for the police department. They got a Raymond scanner, and then the parks trails got some funds for the dog park and water access trails for some trail stations that they put together. So those are our big changes in revenues. Then our expenses are increasing $11.3 million, mostly due to the timing of those project expenses. So our public safety expenses are actually decreasing about $294,000. The primary reason for this is moving the fire engine that was originally budgeted for in the general fund over to the capital project fund, and that keeps those kind of capital purchases out of the general fund. We also had put in the budget for an ambulance that wasn't included initially in this budget, as we had ordered it back in fiscal 22. So it had been budgeted for in previous years, but had to get it into the current year budget since we took delivery of it. Public Works is increasing $1.3 million. Similar situation, delivery of a few dump trucks that we had ordered in previous fiscal years and were on back order and finally received in the current fiscal year. Culture and Recreation, we're increasing $340,000 for library roof repairs and the cost related to the building study consultant at the library. Other big changes were in debt service, $845,000. This is our first payment of the 2025A bond, which was unknown at the time of our original budget. And then we are increasing our capital project line, $969,000. $700,000 of that is moving that rescue engine from general fund down to capital projects. But other projects that were rolled over from the previous fiscal year include the Merle Hay Signalization Timing Project and the Northwest 100th Street 70th to North City Limits projects. Then we had significant increase in our business type activities, which is our enterprise funds, water, sewer, stormwater. 7.8 million. Again, these are all related to project costs that we had previously budgeted for in the previous fiscal years, and they came to fruition in the current fiscal year. So those projects include Little Beaver Creek Sewer Segment B, and then the Northwest Annexation Water Segment B and C. So with that, I also, I put the summary together a little different this year that kind of just overlays it all by our fund types. I did a deep dive on our general fund so we could look closer at how this budget amendment impacts our general fund balances that we typically look at during our budget time. So when we had originally budgeted for fiscal 26, we estimated a 27% reserve in our general fund. This amendment estimates the reserve to be about at 38%, and then moving those numbers forward into our projected budget for our adopted budget for fiscal 27, that keeps that reserve still right at that 25%. So even though we originally budgeted 27% reserve this year, we'll now estimate a 38% reserve. We'll still be at that 25 ballpark mark for fiscal 27. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Council have any questions for Sarah?
Mayor, I do. Explain to me how we can start out with more money and yet end up with the same amount if we haven't made any other decisions on spending in this next budget year. If you say that we're going to end up with 37% or so balance, but still end up next year at 25. Did I hear that wrong?
So when we look at our actual
Talk to me about the reserves.
when we take our estimated, what we originally were budgeting in expenses, and I can double check to see if this, I mean, overall, it plays on that total budget of expenses for the year. And we originally were budgeting 23.6 million. We're not, that number didn't change significantly in our total general fund. We're staying at, budgeted expenses of 23.6 million. But that cash balance, that ending cash balance, comes up to increase our reserve amount 38 to that 38%. Then, that balance comes forward. A lot of these projections, a lot of these adjustments were taken into consideration when we were doing our projections for the fiscal 27 budget. So a lot of the items that I have worked in here, we had already worked into projected ending cash balances in doing that 27 budget spreadsheet similar to this. One of them specifically I know was the fire truck. Like I knew I was going to move that fire truck. So I took that into consideration when we had done our fiscal 27 budget spreadsheet for our cash balance reserves. Similarly for other expenses that we knew we would be adding in.
Okay.
Other questions for Sarah?
So the purpose of this amendment, we're not actually basically,
Getting stuff into the right year.
right, we're not actually amending the budget by spending more money or spending less. We're not taking anything out of the budget or putting anything new. This is just sort of reflecting the
Current year
budget, making the
actuals.
budget reflect where we actually are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Sarah?
This isn't reflective of that amendment, but can we get updated in the board docs library what the next year's budget is? I don't think I see it in there. So that would be helpful. Thank you. I'm going to go digging.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing on this item. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the council? Seeing none, We will close the public hearing at 7:25. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 26-88?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of item I?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Ready,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Motion passed. And I would also direct the council's attention to the fact that part of accepting or approving the consent agenda, you also approve the filing of a number of reports there. And so if you have an interest in any of those reports, please review those at your leisure. Moving on to item seven, not the non-consent agenda, item 7A, consider resolution number 26-80, approving the preliminary plat for Enclave at Wooded Point, Plat 2.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council, Michael Dell, planning staff. We have a preliminary plat from J.J. Larson Properties LLC. This is a preliminary plat submitted to amend a previously approved preliminary plat for 2 phases of projects. This was approved August 8th, 2025. The preliminary plat submittal is to reduce some of the parcels and eliminate some of the by-attached properties. The property is located just southwest of Northwest 70th and Northwest 86th. The hatched area contains both of the phased areas right here. Oh, sorry, wrong document. One sec. A little bit to load, apologies. Within the blue area right here to the west, that is the phase 2 preliminary plat area. You can see some of the little markings there. Basically follows the outline of my cursor. Nothing is changing on the eastern portion of this property and within this preliminary plat, just the stuff on the west side. There originally were more by-attached units within this central area where my cursor's at. They are reducing that just to the northern area here. It'll be a reduction of 52 total parcels to 46 parcels with only 6 by-attached parcels. So it's generally a reduction in density for this preliminary plat. There is a slight change to Northwest Cotton. I can focus in here a little bit more so you can see a little bit easier. There is a slight alignment change to Northwest Cottonwood Drive here just to align better with these parcels. I think it's about 13 feet on average, so a very slight change. Public Works and Foth Engineering have reviewed all of these changes. There are no other changes to this preliminary plat. All the buffers that were put in place, all the bulk requirements, it would meet all of those. This was reviewed by Plan and Zoning Commission. We did not receive any comments. There were notifications for the public hearings. We did not receive any comments from those notifications. Does council have any questions?
Council have any questions for Michael?
Which of the lots were they intend to do the by-attached?
By-attached will be up here, this smaller, skinnier lots, basically where you see it shift into the 60-foot lots.
Okay. Thank you.
You wouldn't happen to know if they're, how much those by-attached lots are going for versus the smaller or the larger single-family lot?
I do not. I believe the consultant for the applicant is here. I'm not sure if she would know that either. Doesn't look like it.
You know, I'm sure it's driven by the market. But as we all know, it's hard to get a house in Johnston for an entry level. And although buy attached homes doesn't mean they're any cheaper, so.
If there are no other questions, the recommendation from Plan and Zoning Commission was to approve the project subject to the normal conditions that we have outlined in the staff report.
Council, have any other questions for either Michael or the applicant? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 26-80?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second discussion. Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Cope?
Yes.
Evans?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes,
Ready?
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7B, consider the following items related to PC case 25-36. Resolution number 26-85, approving the preliminary plat for Silver Birch Park Plat 4, minor subdivision. Resolution 26-86, approving the final plat for Silver Birch Park Plat 4, minor subdivision. Kind of a tongue twister.
Yeah, apologies for that long agenda item for text. This one is basically a minor lot line adjustment. There are some existing lot ties and kind of a funky history of plats. So staff thought it would be easier just to go through the preliminary and final plat process to adjust the property lines. The property owner at 6202 and 6210 wants to change their parcel line to extend their existing property from 6202 to encompass more of this parcel to the north. And the remaining parcel will be just set up as an individual parcel, but it'll then be sold to 9212, which is right here. 9212 does own this parcel and this parcel. It has not been reflected on the Polk County's assessor site yet, but they have tied these parcels together. So these three wonky little parcels are one parcel now, and their intent would be to buy a little bit more of this. And I can show the council what that would look like. They're basically going to extend the lot line a little bit up here, and that parcel line will go down there. This other lot will just be this little portion over here that will eventually be sold to the eastern property owner. There is an existing 15-foot landscape buffer on the north and the west side. We did have comments on that from neighbors to the north just to verify, because they had done some tree clearing and some brush, not tree clearing, just some brush clearing to clean up the area. I did go out and verify that the buffer was still intact and still maintained for the 15 feet. That buffer will go with the land and all the sales, so it does run with the land. Even if they don't sell off this lot 2 that is created, if that sale doesn't go through, it does meet our bulk standards for the zoning district. The recommendation from Plan and Zoning Commission was similar to our other plat recommendations, along with staff inspection of that landscape buffer area.
Council, have any questions for Michael?
Mayor, I do.
Okay.
Michael, the first question is that that lot 2 that would be kind of the remnant then after kind of parting out between the other property owners, that is large enough to be able to build something habitable?
It does meet our bulk requirements for minimum lot size and minimum lot frontage. There is significant grade change in here. It would be very difficult to build a house without significant grading. The plans for both applicants is not to develop that. It's just extra land on their parcels.
All right. The other question I have, and it's more just to jog my memory, when we tie lots together, that's a pseudo-permanent type activity, is that right?
It is permanent. It'll combine the parcels.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Michael? have a motion to approve resolution number 26-85.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Cope,
Yes.
Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Burkhart.
Yes.
Motion passed. And do we have a motion to approve resolution number 26-86?
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Evans,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope.
Yes.
Motion passed. Item 7C, consider approval of claims in the amount of $1,793,984.66.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Cindy, vote please.
Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Ready,
Yes.
Burkhart,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Evans.
Yes.
Motion passed. Moving on to city administrator staff comments. We actually have a presentation on the public art initiative, or an update on it.
Mayor, you've set the expectations high with presentation. I have a
We have an update.
very brief one pager I'm going to hand out.
Thanks.
That's okay, given the condition of the weather outside.
Yeah. Maybe take enough time so that it calms down by the time we are done.
It's a bunch of names.
Mayor and council, this is intended to be brief, but wanted to keep you up to speed on a couple of large moving pieces here. This evening, you did adopt and accept the Public Art and Culture Plan as final. Thank you. That really sets the foundation for us to move forward. Part of our agreement with Group Creatives, who has been the consultant for us on this project to walk us through not only creating a Public Art and Culture Plan, but also help us out with the next steps. So this was what I'm going to share here as part of our original agreement. We're in the process of, with Group Creatives, of soliciting proposals for professional artists and conceptual designs for public art for the Merle Hay Kayak Launch site and the roundabouts throughout Johnston. Those were two priority areas, specifically Merle Hay Kayak Launch. We've received some grant funding for, so we do need to move forward on that in 2026. There's a slate of names here that staff has met with the mayor and discussed the selection committee for both the roundabouts and Merle Hay Kayak Launch. We were very thoughtful, not only in having the council involved and staff, but also a diversified slate from the private sector. So if you see your name on here, we haven't reached out to everybody yet. So as I noted on there, staff will be reaching out to either Ethan or I in the next week or so. And then lastly, just wanted to share that we're also exploring interactive art ideas for the town center. Town center does have some funding available for public art that the city bonded for a few years ago. And so that is part of the Public Art and Culture Plan for interactive art. And I remember some of you were kind of excited about that component when the pictures came up on the Public Art and Culture Plan. So we'll be coming back to you with some ideas for that and possibly move forward since there's potentially funding available, or there is funding available. So just wanted to give a brief update on this and happy to answer any questions.
Council have any questions, comments? Thank you, Josh.
Great, thank you.
You bet. City administrator.
You don't have any additional reports.
Any other staff with anything to share? Okay. City council comments. Councilman Evans.
Nothing, thanks.
Ready.
Sure. Just like to point out, yesterday I had a small gathering at my place and my daughter was cleaning up the security dashboard. She accidentally pressed a button that went a panic button to the police department. She accidentally did it. And the police showed up 2 minutes in 2 minutes, they showed up. So I'd just like to thank your response time and you really taking the effort to come by. I can't remember the name of the police officers yesterday, the 4 people who came by. Thank them very much for coming by, and the response time I think is really good, regardless of where we are and who we are. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that.
Councilman Coe,
I'll pass, thank you.
Councilman Burger.
I just want to extend publicly a whole bunch of thanks. I know I did so before on Educator Appreciation, but now it's just the fact that they are brave souls fighting the last couple of days of teaching in this school year. By the time we meet again, school will be out for the summer for all of Johnston kids in the Johnston School District. And I wish them a very safe and fun summer and encourage them all to read and visit our library. But I also want to take a point of personal privilege to recognize the graduating class of Johnston High School. They are an incredibly talented and awesome group of kids. And they're going to do great things, and I know they'll have Johnston in their hearts, even if they go
know any of
lots of them. I know you know many of them, and we all do, and we're partial to all of them. And so with all of that, I wish them well. And I'm so thankful for the ways that they've enriched our community and certainly our schools throughout these years, and I can't wait to see what they continue to do. So thanks for that.
Councilwoman Martin.
Well, I guess I just wanted to point out, I got the chance to see the fire department in action on Mother's Day evening. There was a fire in Rickers Oaks, and it was very professional. From the distance, I was very polite, didn't say, hey, let me through. I stood back, was a gawker, but from a distance, it looked like it was well managed, and I appreciate sounded like a very quick response. We were having supper and all the fire engines coming from all over. They got support from Sailor and Ankeny, I think. It's unfortunate that the house was a total loss. And it was the same house that had burned 4 or 5 or 6 years ago, which is incredibly unlucky for those people. The same home, family owns it. Yeah. But it was fun to watch. Is that bad to say? I think a firefighter might understand. Anyway, it was very well run as far as this individual who knows nothing about it. Thank you.
Well, I want to extend some thanks this evening as well. Last week was an amazing week. We had a lot of things going on. Not the least of which was the word from Corteva that the seed company, now named Vilar, is moving back to Johnston. The headquarters is moving back to Johnston, Iowa. I want to thank everybody that was involved in that. I probably won't name everyone, but Mike, of course, your work on that was just absolutely incredible, and you know, we probably couldn't have done it without you. Dave Willerding, Josh, council members, it's as I shared with the Des Moines Partnership on Friday, it's a big flipping deal. You know, just being able to retain those jobs and with the potential of growing those jobs and the facilities into the future. Henry Wallace is dancing in his grave. The fact that we are getting the company back home again. So that was absolutely incredible news. Also, the economic development tour last week was very well done. Great tour, great presentations, great. I thought keynote speaker. I thought he scared the bejeebers out of me on several different fronts. Don't write checks anymore. Don't let your kids videotape their pictures on any social media, because that might be used to, create a message that could create some concerns for you as a parent in the future. Just all kinds of scary things going on out there, so be aware of that. But job well done. And the mayor's bike ride. We couldn't have had a nicer day for it. And the park staff that turned out to support that, plan for it and support it, did an amazing job. So just lots of good things happened last week. One thing that I want to point out that is happening this week that you might not be aware of is the National Guard, Camp Dodge, is kicking off the America 250 celebration by having an event on Thursday night. It starts at 4 o'clock. There'll be some remarks given by the general and the curator at the Gold Star Museum. The governor is planned to be there, and I've been asked to give some remarks as well. But shortly after all of those remarks, a couple of bands will be playing. The 34th Army Band, scrap metal, will be playing, as well as the Standing Hamptons. It's a little earlier than they usually have their concerts, but hope to have a big crowd there. They'll have food trucks there as well. I think the weather will get this all out of their system before Thursday, and we can look forward to a wonderful way to kick off the 250th anniversary of our country by attending that event, and then rolling eventually into the Green Days, which isn't that far away. So hope to see you there. With that, is there anything else come before the council this evening? If not, we are adjourned. I hope you brought your umbrellas.
Don't rush too